It's been quite a while, but finally I am back with my Bowie videos. I'm sorry it took me so long to make this one. Today I'm going to be finishing off the Berlin Trilogy by listening to Lodger for the first time. I've already done videos on a lot of David Bowie's albums, but more importantly, I've talked about Low and Heroes, and then finally in the Berlin Trilogy we have Lodger, and I've heard this one isn't as good as the others, but it's a David Bowie album. He's one of the greatest artists of all time, my personal favorite solo artist of all time, so I'm really interested because I know none of the songs on here. There's nothing even for Apple Music. You know how they have like the editor's notes? There's nothing even written here. There are 10 tracks on the album. The album's only 35 minutes though, and that's really interesting. And when it comes to Low and Heroes, they're albums that I really love. Of course I have videos on them, and all my David Bowie videos are linked up here, but I really love them, and I've gone back and listened to them a lot over and over again, especially Low. I just think that thing is utterly perfect, honestly. Like, ignore what I said about cutting 3 minutes from it when I first made my video. And then Heroes is really great, so I am interested. I don't know if this one will be like the other ones where half of it is like instrumental and then the first half is like full of lyrics and stuff. I'm not sure if that's how it will be. I am interested though. The two big songs here, at least the ones that are start, are called DJ and Boys Keep Swinging. And the 10 tracks here are Fantastic Voyage, African Night Flight, Move On, Yassassin, Turkish for long life, live, I don't know, Red Sails, DJ, Look Back and Anger, Boys Keep Swinging, Repetition, and Red Money. I'm really excited to hear, and all the tracks are pretty short. Like, the longest track I think here is 4 minutes and 19 seconds, so that's not all that long, especially because, I mean, a lot of these classic rock stars have really long songs, so I'm interested. We'll see how it is. I'll be back in about 35 minutes. So, how was Lodger? Well, I think it was really good. I don't think it was even close to Low or Heroes, and it's probably my least favorite album that I've heard from him so far, but it is still a really great album. There's something about it that feels like so experimental, and that's what you could say about all the albums in the Berlin Trilogy. And again, yes, it is the weakest, but I think it still works because there is that like unique factor to it. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anything like this. I don't think there is really anything like this, and I think that's what made it more special. Again, it is my least favorite, and I think that's just because a lot of the songs aren't really that memorable. Like, they don't really stick in your head. I like them all except like one was a little but I will talk about that when I get into it. But they were all good songs, just they weren't the most memorable. Some of them were really good, but there were a few that you could just kind of pass up on, I guess. And I had a lot of fun making the thumbnail. I was doing that while listening to the album. I set my phone up on my shelf here. That was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy that. But anyway, let's jump into the track list. So it starts off with Fantastic Voyage, and this one might have been my favorite song on the album, honestly. I know like the big songs are DJ and Boys Keep Swinging, but this one might have been my favorite, honestly. It just had some amazing vocals that really sucked me in, and it kind of showed me what the album was going to be for the most part. There were a few times where the album does kind of change in its whole vibe, but I really enjoyed this one. I thought that this was a fantastic song. I'm really going to listen to it over and over again, and if there was one song that I could keep from the album, it would be this one, and that's a new thing I think I'm going to start doing, if I even remember. I just came up with it now. If there was one song that I had to keep from the album, it would be Fantastic Voyage. And then it goes into African Night Flight, and this is one that is definitely more experimental. I don't think it worked perfectly because it felt like Bowie was almost rapping at some points, and not to the extent of like Axl Rose in Guns N' Roses' My World. Like, it didn't stoop to that level. I think it was an interesting song, and it's one that I'm gonna have to listen to more because, again, this is only my first time listening. I've heard all these songs just once, and it'll probably grow on me when I listen to it more, but after first listen I was like, okay, interesting. And then Move On, it reminds me of that Sunday in the Park with George song, you know, that musical. It reminds me of Move On, that Jake Gyllenhaal and Mandy Patinkin and Bernadette Peters and Anna Lee Ashford. Like, it was Gyllenhaal and Anna Lee Ashford, like, new ones. Mandy Patinkin and Bernadette Peters were like the original ones. That's what I thought of when I read the title. Obviously it wasn't going to be that because that is a duet, and I don't know if this album came first or the musical. I can't remember off the top of my head. It was a good song. It's just one of those that I felt could be brushed aside a little bit, but again, I feel like there are a lot of these songs, it'll grow on me more as I listen. I feel like this album will be one of those albums that really grows on you more and more. And then Yassassin, or Turkish for long live or long live, I didn't even get, like, when it said Turkish for long live, I was like, what does that mean? And it's literally telling me that it is the Turkish word for long life. I'm just stupid, I didn't realize that. And it's another one that I don't have much to say about just because it didn't really stick with me. It is a good song, I will say, and it all sounds good. Like, this is the 2017 remastered. I think they remastered like almost all of his albums in 2017, and it sounds really good. It's a really good sounding album. This is one of the ones that didn't really stick with me. Red Sails was really good. Again, kind of short. Surprisingly, it's actually one of the longer ones on the album, which, like, as I was looking at it, I was like, oh wait, this is the shorter one? Nope, it's actually one of the longest, because a lot of these songs are quite short. This one was good, and then DJ, of course, is like one of the big ones from this album. I thought it was really good, and it's not my favorite because I'd still say Fantastic Voyage is, but it was still a very good song, and this one was one of the ones that really did stick with me. I'm going to listen to it more and more. It's a really interesting track by Bowie, and I also really loved Look Back in Anger. There was one line, I need to check what it is. What is the line? When it kept repeating, waiting so long, I've been waiting so, you know, it obviously went differently. That really stuck in my head, and that's what made the song really good. And then Boys Keep Swinging was probably my second favorite. Again, one of the big songs from here, and it was really good. There's a lot that I'm like, this is an interesting song. It's something that I do want to look more into, because I feel like the meaning is kind of interesting, or it just had no meaning at all. Again, people have started to complain in my comments about me always trying to look for meanings, but it's like, it's what I do for songs. And then Repetition reminded me of Sappy by Nirvana in the way the meaning of the song, not obviously, you know, the lyrics and the sound of it's very different, but it seems like it tells the story of some like abusive relationship between the man, what was the man's name again? I can't remember. Johnny. So it's, the lyrics are, Johnny's a man, he's bigger than you, blah, blah, blah. And then like there's parts about like cleaning or cooking, and the food is on the table, but the food is cold, don't hit her, can't you even cook? What's the good of me working when you can't damn cook? Johnny's a man, he's bigger. And then the line that really kind of snapped me into the song was, I guess the bruises won't show if she wears long sleeves. And I was just like, it's a tough song. Again, this one and Boys Keep Swinging kind of battle for my second favorite. It's one of those songs that I think is really good, and when I listen to it, I'm like, damn, this is a good song, but it also like takes a little part of you to listen to it, because it is quite emotional, or at least it tells an emotional story, I find, but I think it was really good. And then Red Money ended off the album really well. It's again one of the longer songs, but I think it all really worked, and this was a very good album. It was not as good as the other ones from the Berlin Trilogy, and it's probably my least favorite Bowie album that I've listened to so far, but I kind of went into it expecting that. I'd been told by many people that this one was the weakest one out of the trilogy, and I can totally agree, as I've said like 5 times in this video. There's just a few songs that didn't really stick with me all that much. There was none besides maybe Fantastic Voyage, Repetition, Boys Keep Swinging, that like really stood out to me. Of course, I did enjoy Look Back in Anger, I enjoyed DJ, I enjoyed almost all the songs on here, and it's one that I definitely want to listen to more and more. I'm going to add it to my library. I forgot to before filming this, but that also shows how I'm filming this right after I finished it. But I do actually highly recommend listening to this album. Nobody really talks about it, and I can get it because obviously Bowie is some of the greatest albums of all time. Obviously, you can see Ziggy Stardust down there. I don't think I filmed a Bowie video with like the new kind of album things down here. And for those who are coming back for these videos, thank you once again. What do you think of this album? Thank you everyone for watching. We did hit 1,000 subscribers. Now we're at 1,100, which is just awesome. Road to 2K, and thank you all for watching. Comment your thoughts on this album down below. Next up is Station to Station. I'm really exciting because we're talking about the Thin White Duke. I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.